Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Chris with Track My EV, and today I've got something that I'm pretty excited about that I wanted to share with you all. So it's not going to make the car any faster, but it is going to help protect the vital components of the vehicle during our 3,500 mile road trip for the one lap of America. So what we've got here is the Mountain Pass Performance Bash Me front arrow shield, and basically this is going to replace the stock felt piece with this 1/8 inch piece of steel. So obviously it's going to offer considerably more protection, and we've got oil cooler lines going down there, but even on a stock car you also have some coolant lines for the battery pack, you get your front drive unit, so there's a number of sensitive components there that you want to protect. And the stock felt piece, if you run over some road debris, just isn't going to offer that much protection. So let's get this taken apart and we'll check it out. Alright, so here's what you get in the box. So pretty much just a little bit of hardware and the plate itself. And it's kind of hard to show this in a video, but this is a significant piece of metal. It's definitely going to handle pretty much anything you can throw at it. It is not thin. And so as you can see here, it's about 4 millimeters thick. Alright, so just to give you a little demonstration of the thickness, watch this. Not even a dent. Alright, so removing the stock shield is actually very easy. We've got some 10mm bolts and two 15mm nuts, and it just comes right down. Alright, it's that simple. Okay, so for comparison, here's the stock front arrow shield. And as you can see, it's this fairly thin kind of felt. So it's light, but really doesn't offer any protection. It's pretty flimsy. And I imagine if I hit it with a hammer, it would probably go through it. So I'm not going to do that, but just as, comparison's sake, you can see it's pretty flimsy. All right, well now we'll move on to installation. And pretty much all we need for this is a little bit of Loctite, a 4mm Allen for the smaller bolts, and a 6mm Allen for the larger ones. So we'll start off just by threading this little rubber bump stop into the center hole. Next we'll take the spacers here, and we're going to apply a little bit of Loctite to the existing threads and put these on. They'll get torqued to 33 foot-pounds. Alright, so we'll take our 17 and our 3/8 torque wrench, and we'll torque these down. Okay, and so to give you guys a better idea of why we're doing this, this is our front subframe. Here's our front drive unit. And as you can see on my car, I've got these oil cooler lines running right along here. We've got our oil filter, so, obviously there's a fair amount of sensitive parts here. And then one of the other concerns is these coolant lines that run across the battery pack in the front here. So there's not a huge amount of protection for these. We do have this front plate, but, if you run over something, you can definitely hit these, possibly cracking these internal lines, which would require replacement of the battery pack. Then we've got these high voltage lines to your front drive unit here. So again, definitely don't want to be smashing in anything up here, which is why we want this Mountain Pass Performance Smash Me plate to protect us. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install the front arrow shield. And this is a little bit easier with 2 people, but it's definitely doable with just 1. And I'll show you how that's done. So just pick it up and just kind of loosely line up your holes. And you can go ahead and just kind of get them started by hand. Alright, that's it. You just can go ahead and snug everything up. You know, they shouldn't be super tight. You don't want to strip anything out, but they shouldn't be loose either. So I guess that's probably a good rule of thumb. Maybe like 20 foot-pounds is a good number. But that's it. You are now installed. And as you can see, all of our vital components are now protected. Hey everyone. So as it turns out, after recording the video that you just watched, my friend and I went and we did the 1 lap of America. And for those of you who don't know, you basically drive your car from racetrack to racetrack, starting in South Bend, Indiana, and ending in South Bend, Indiana. And the route is about 3,500 miles. You go to various racetracks. You know, we went to, I think, like 8 different venues over the course of about 10 days. It's a lot of fun. In total, I think we put on just over 5,000 miles on the car in 11 days. So we did a lot of driving, obviously, with the Model 3. And as it turns out, on the second to last day of the event, we actually came across a deer that had been hit by the 18-wheeler in front of us, and there's really nowhere to go, so we had to go over it. Well, thankfully, we had the MPP bash plate on the car, and it protected it. I'll get some pictures up now so that you can see what we saw, but fortunately, the plate, while getting bent pretty badly, protected all the vital components. The oil cooler lines were fully intact, the drive unit had no problems, the battery was fine, the battery coolant lines were fine. So I didn't really intend on testing the bash plate that quickly, because this was only a few weeks after I installed it, but fortunately it came in really handy. And I do genuinely believe if we didn't have that bash plate installed, that we may have come across, you know, significant enough damage that it would have put us out of the race, and we would have been literally at that point 1,000 miles away from home, so that would not have been a fun experience. And as such, that's why I highly recommend this product. I was able to basically just take a rubber mallet and bend it back into shape. It is aluminum, so it doesn't really bend much, but it bends enough. You know, I put it back on and it's been fine since. So I'm really thankful to have had it on the car, and especially if you have a lowered car. I mean, I think you'd be silly not to get it. But even for a stock car, I mean, you know, it's just cheap insurance. Definitely better than having to have the car towed, deal with your insurance company, damage to, you know, vital components of the vehicle. You know, I think it's a great addition. So that's my real world experience.